And just like that, the next episode has begun. Welcome back to Ace Attorney, Trials and Tribulations. When we last left off, we're at General Kudo's last stand, if you will. Now, when we last left off, wait, did I say when we last left off twice? I might have. Anyway, whatever the case would be, we're cross-examining Kudo, and yeah. So, I feel like this is the one that we actually need to present evidence for, but we're gonna just press everything up first. The boy is wearing their earpiece on the same side as the green lens of his specs! So then the victim was wearing an HMD. HDTV, CD, DVD, what does it matter? It was none of them actually, but anyway. And you're sure that he was wearing the earpiece on the same side? No question! I could only see that side of his head from where I was sitting! Yeah, that's pretty obvious if you look at the floor plans. From the opposite table, he'd only have a view of the side of the victim's head. He kept fiddling with it all the time! It seems you kept an eye on Mr. Glenn Elg. He was getting on my nerves! Listening to that newspaper fiddling with his earpiece all the time! And then he went and made all the fuss dying from one sip of Javicino! I wanted to say to him, calm down, you young brat! Just look at him, made me suddenly speed up at my CD eating! I could have choked! So I take it the victim was walking a ball of nervous energy. He was fiddling with it just before he picked up the cup, too! The earpiece you mentioned, which hand did the victim touch it with? You're one of those people! One of those people who uses his left hand to get things out of his right pocket! Or fasten his left cuff with his right hand! And when the tour guide says, on your right side, you'll see the famous blah blah blah, you're the only one who deliberately looks left, well, aren't you? No, I didn't mean... Obviously, he used the hand of the same side of his body that earpiece was in! Ow! 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 So if he had the HDMI on his left side, then it was his left hand, I guess. And then he used the same hand to pick up the cup, his left hand! You seem very sure of yourself, Mr. Kudo. That's because I know what I saw, no matter what trick you try to play on me! It looks like you really did see the guy picking the cup up with his left hand. This is a dead end. Well, Nick, what do you think? I think the guy's telling the truth, but even so, something's not quite right. Then chuck evidence at him until he breaks! But if he's not lying, there wouldn't be any contradictions in his testimony, right? That's not true! We've learned that before, several times before. The boy was wearing the earpiece on the same side as the green lens of his specs. Now, here's the thing. If you look at it, it's over his left ear. His left eardrum was ruptured. I'm not quite sure if this is the right evidence that we need to present for it, but here we go. I'm not sure what the relevance of this is, but... Mr. Kudo, there is something very strange about your observations of the victim. What?! You say he was wearing the earpiece on the same side as the HMD. No question! You can lock me up if I'm wrong! It was his left ear, without a doubt! I could only see with that side of his head from where I was sitting! I don't think so. What did you say?! You're no doubt unaware of the fact, Mr. Kudo, but the victim couldn't hear with his left ear. His eardrum was ruptured! Eh? Traces of medication for his condition were found in the ear canal. That's right, it's impossible that the victim was wearing his earpiece on his left ear, because he couldn't even hear in that ear. Is that true, Captain? It is. Pigeon! Pretty pigeon! Order! 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 This witness's testimony is completely unreliable. He only saw the waitress from behind. And he claims the victim was wearing an earpiece when we know his eardrum was ruptured. Well, Mr. Godot? A single drop of milk is all it takes to destroy the pure black magic in the cup. This old man is my drop of milk. Captain! Are you calling me a drip? This is the victim's coffee cup in which the potassium cyanide was found. The mark on the rim clearly shows the victim picked it up with his right hand. I'll never back down! I know I'm right! The lad drank his Javicino with his left hand! Let me put you out of your misery. Clearly the victim used both hands. He took a sip of the cup He took a sip with the cup held in his right hand and then switched to his left. That's what the old man saw. Impossible! The witness had already testified on numerous occasions that the victim died immediately after taking just one sip of the coffee. Which hand the victim used to pick up his cup is irrelevant, Your Honor. The facts still stand. With one hand or the other, Mr. L drank the poisoned coffee. Like this! Sadly, Mr. Godot, that doesn't wash. The point of this testimony was to establish whether the witness's memory was credible. And the results are clear. The testimony given by his witness is useless. I believe it is time to conclude today's proceedings. I am satisfied that the witness is not deceiving the court. But to be frank, his testimony is a farce. Did you have to be so frank? Take that, you pompous old fogey! I'm sorry, Mr. Kudo, you can't reach me from here. I'm ordering the defense and the prosecution to investigate this case further. That is all for now. This court is adjourned. Hold it? Okay. Who is it this time? Wait! If we stop now, where does that leave me? Leave you, Mr. Kudo? Thanks to that blue-suited young upstart over there, I'm just a bumbling old man who can't even dot his T's or cross his I's now. How is your bad memory my fault? I'm sorry, Mr. Kudo, but there's nothing I can do. I've kept my mouth shut until now. But there's something else the court should know. There always is, isn't there, ladies and gentlemen? What? There's more? To be perfectly honest, it might not be anything, but I want another chance. I want another crack at you, young shark. Me? He's looking at me like I'm some sort of evil shogun. Well, everyone, what do you say to one final showdown? The final chapter of this eccentric old man's scrapbook. Sorry, Gramps. I've already had my 17th cup of coffee. What have you got to lose, Captain? I'll give you all the coffee you want if you will come to my house after the trial. I may be 68 years old, but Victor Kudo is still a man. That's enough, witness. I believe it will be quicker for the court to just hear your testimony. You bet! Much, much quicker! I can't believe this is happening. You better get ready, youngster! I get the picture. Just quit throwing those seeds at me, would ya? He's got to be using some sort of infinite ammo with that box of seeds. I mean, I guess you do have a point there. He should have ran out of seeds a long time. Oh, by the way, if you look at Victor Kudo's symbol, the little character on his whatchamacallit, that's a hiragana for nu. Interesting. I wonder because that by itself doesn't really mean anything, does it? I wonder what the significance in that is. Nu. Whatever the case may be, the final showdown. First of all, I want to stress that this might be nothing. I'm not too sure of myself. The young boy slipped over the table as soon as he took one sip of the Javicino. Well, the clumsy idiot upset the vase. He knocked it right over. It broke and the strip of cloth covering the table got completely soaked. Well, how about that? Turn things upside down, I guess. Is that all? Yes, that's all. I remember it perfectly. You're doubting me again? You're doubting a poor Defense's old man? No, we are not doubting you, Mr. Kudo. Don't you get the feeling there's a question hanging on everyone's lip, Nick? Yeah. So what? Probably. That's all I can think of, and I have to cross-examine this guy. You're a bird brain. That's why that's all you can think of. Very well. Mr. Wright, your final cross-examination, please. The final showdown, if you will. I'm really curious. What is the it's the hiragana for nu. What is that mean? I feel like it's short for something. I feel like in the Japanese version it would have made a lot more sense, I imagine. But in the English version, because they had to change things for the localization, it doesn't quite make sense to me. I really have to use the bathroom. That was probably TMI. Probably TMI. I don't care. First of all, I want to stress that this might be nothing. I'm not too sure of myself. Oh, freaking earpiece. Are you kidding me? First, I admit that I have to use the bathroom and my earpiece falls out. Professionalism at its finest. The court generally prefers as witnesses are sure of themselves, Mr. Kudo. Noisy brat! I'm warning you! I'm more savage than a macho man right now! You won't beat me with this testimony! This is the final battle! Ow! Ow! He's chucking those seeds harder than ever! I better be careful. Come on, Nick! Nail him! The young boy slumped over the table as soon as he took one sip of his Javachino! The court has already heard that testimony, Mr. Kudo. I know that! I was just setting the mood! How else am I supposed to build up the suspense, The suspense? Isn't it enough? Should I work the audience a bit more? No, please continue, Mr. Kudo, as quickly as possible. Alright, now where was I? Yes, the young boy slipped over the table, and... Well, the clumsy idiot upset the vase. He knocked it right over. A vase, you say? Yes! There are vases on the tables in that place! There are accidents waiting to happen! They're practically begging to be knocked over! Well, he's right about there being vases. I do remember seeing them, too. There was a vase on the table when I ate lunch there. And you saw the moment when the victim actually knocked over the vase? Well, it's hard to say! It's a bit unclear! How do you really define... Okay, I get it. I heard it break and the sight of it burned into my memory as clear as day! It broke and the strip of cloth covering the table got completely soaked! There was a coffee stain there, I do remember that. Soaked in water, you mean? Yes, it splashed me on the knee as well! You said you were sitting at the table across the room from the victim, correct? And yet, the water still managed to splash onto you. It was cold! I clearly remember it splashing on me! Could the water really make it all the way across the other side of the room? Well, how about that? Turn things upside down, Not really. You mean the vase of the victim's table falling upside down and breaking? The vase turned upside down and my testimony's turning the case upside down! It's a joke! I just wanted everyone to hear it! What do you think, Captain? I'm impressed by your ability to waste time. God, it hasn't raised any objections for a while now. So you young show-off with that scrap of information, I'm throwing down the gauntlet! If I lose this one, I'll take it like a man in admit defeat! He's really giving you the evil eye, Maya. It's you he's looking at, Nick, not me! It's like he's saying, I triple dog dare you to find a contradiction, youngin'. He said the same thing to me once, didn't he? I don't know. I guess I'll just have to rise to the challenge then. Alrighty then. Have we saved recently? I'm not quite sure if we saved. Why did I roll my R? Have we saved recently? I'm not quite sure if we saved, but we're going to save. This thing is, this testimony is so freaking ridiculous that I'm not quite sure if... First of all, I want to stress that this might be nothing. I'm not too sure myself. Okay, that's useless. The young boy slumped over the table as soon as he took one sip of his Javachino. That's probably true. Well, the clumsy idiot upset the vase. He knocked it right over. It broke, and the strip of cloth covering the table got completely soaked. The strip of cloth covering the table got completely soaked. Well, how about that? Turn things upside down, Hold on. We could just easily... If we look at a picture, is the vase there? Let's check. Really? Are you serious? Right, okay. Victor Kudo, Mr. Grandpappy. It broke. Well, that clumsy idiot upset the vase. He knocked it right over. I'm sorry, but... Now you're just getting desperate. This is getting ridiculous. Mr. Kudo, this is a photograph of the crime scene. Humph! So what? Look carefully at the table. The vase is there, intact. Huh? Lost your tongue, Granddad. I'm no granddad of yours, Hopscotch! Ow! Ow! Enough! If you throw any more seeds in this courtroom, the cleaners will be here all night. Ah! I don't know why I'm screaming. What is it now? I just remembered something. Yes, go on. The broken vase! It was on my table! Okay. What? Oh, well, you see? It startled me when that young lad collapsed, so I stood up. That must have been when it fell over. The vase on my table, I mean. The vase on your table? Yes, it was on my table. And that's how my groin came to be completely soaked. Oh boy. Are we seriously gonna have to do another witness testimony? Thank you, Mr. Kudo. You certainly earned your kudos for today. I'd like to ask a question now. Have I been any use at all? Perhaps that's something you should reflect on yourself, Mr. Kudo. Wait a minute. If that's the case, there's more. I've got more to say. Oh yes, I remember something else. Bailiff, escort the witness out of the courtroom. Wait! Listen to me! Well, we seem to have been considerably sidetracked, and I am still not in a position to deliver a verdict. The defendant has not been positively identified as the waitress in question. Additionally, there are two disparities in the testimony we have heard thus far. The mark on the coffee cup that the victim supposedly drank from with his left hand, and the earpiece, which was inserted into his left ear out of which he couldn't hear. Wow, Nick, you did it! I therefore require both the defendants and the prosecution to further investigate the facts. Yes, Your Honor. There is one more thing before I call today's session to an end. One more thing, Your Honor. The witness we just heard from. He is the most insistent that his testimony should be of use, so he summarized it accordingly into this statement. Okay. You may each have a copy of it if you wish. Whatever. The prosecution doesn't need props like that. Godot's really mad, huh? Yeah, I would be too. Very well. Here you are then, Mr. Wright. There are 3 copies, my own, yours, and Mr. Godot's. Remember that carefully, because that's probably going to play a very important role in this later on, I imagine. Yeah. Yes, Your Honor. Victor's testimony added to the court record. I'm sorry? This isn't a piece of testimony. This isn't a piece of testimony. It's more like a 5-year-old's apology. Let's look at it. Victor's testimony. When the incident occurred, I broke the vase at my seat. I'm sorry. Well, I feel like you just wait. That's probably going to be the most vital piece of information this entire court session, ladies and gentlemen. Or this entire case, I should say, because the court session is over. What the heck are we supposed to do with 3 copies? That is all. The court is adjourned. To be continued. Save cleared stage data up to this point. Yes, please. Saving, do not turn power off. Alrighty then. January 7th, 12:52 p.m. Wright & Co. Law Offices. So how do you think the trial went this morning? How do you think it went? It got a bit crazy in there. I just wonder if that killed our chance. Yeah, I guess it did get out of hand. Mr. Kudo's testimony did nothing to help us. Plus, now we don't even know the identity of the waitress who laced the coffee. All we know is that old Mr. Kudo saw. Oh. All we know is what old Mr. Kudo saw. The apron straps and the ribbon. And that the victim was wearing an earpiece when his eardrum was ruptured. Talk about a terrifying case of contradictionitis. Time to play doctor and find ourselves a cure then, huh? Yeah! We gotta find one for Maggie or she's going to have a terminal case of guilty. Alrighty then. I could probably see you guys in the next episode. Have we seen who? No, we haven't. Anyway.